What's up, guys? And in this video I'm going to be lecturing people into getting surround sound. Let's say they want it and they don't really know what the advantages are for it. I'm going to be telling you what the advantages and disadvantages are to it, so let's get started. I'm fortunate enough to have a full surround sound in my room and in a living room downstairs. And some people don't have that, but they want it, so they're like, well, if I get it, I might not be happy with it, so I want to, do some research on it. And that's completely fine, but I'm here to tell you that you should get it, or shouldn't. So I'm going to give you 3 advantages and 3 disadvantages to getting it. And I'm a huge music listener, especially for my age. A lot of people listening to music. The current pop genre and a little bit of rap. I'm not too big on rap, but a little bit, just in case you're interested. And what's not better than having a full set of speakers to complement it? And if you have a subwoofer, in my opinion, it just sounds 10 times better just with the subwoofer, let alone the speakers to go with it. Now, some people are like, oh, what's the big deal? I want to get just a docking station. That's completely fine, but I think once you hear, a lot of the docking stations don't have as good as speakers as you can do with, full surround sound speakers. But a lot of them do. But, they're so close together that you really can't enjoy the full effect of it unless you kind of spread it apart and twist the speakers. But if you have them mounted on your ceiling or wall high up and around, you definitely get the full effect of it, and you can hear behind you and in front of you. And this is just for music or movies. It's not just for music. It's for everything basically. What I usually do is I plug my phone or tablet into my headphone jack into my receiver, and it just plays throughout. So you can do that with basically anything, your phone, iPod, MP3, iPad, tablet, or whatever you have to the receiver. Number 2 is movies. And this goes along with music majorly as well, because of the fact that the speakers and the subwoofer practically make the movie. Like if you're watching an action movie, we all know that classic scene where, some explosion happens and you find glass flying everywhere. You literally feel like you're in that scene and there is glass flying everywhere. That's a good surround sound that you have speakers in the front and back that you can actually hear pinpoint where in your room that the glass is coming from. And also you can play around with the settings too. If you have a good receiver, you can put the vocals into the center channel and have the rest of the speakers with the action movie, or you can make it all vocals and everything the same. You can just do a couple of different ways. You could definitely get creative with that. And number 3, in generally, just realistic sounds, more realistic sounds. If you have a TV speaker right now, if you're living off of a TV speaker or just one sound bar, maybe an older sound bar, some of the new sound bars actually sound really good. But if you're living off of a TV speaker, I definitely think that the vocals on especially with older TVs, some of the newer TVs actually have good speakers in them, but some of the older TVs, the vocals just kind of sound mumbly and not realistic. Same goes with everything else. It just doesn't sound realistic. It sounds phony. But with good speakers and good surround sound and good subwoofer, everything just flows together and kind of sounds like the person's actually talking in your room. It doesn't sound that real, but it sounds really real. Now, for something that has advantages, you will get disadvantages too. So I'm going to tell you 3 more disadvantages to this. Number 1 is loud. I'm one of those people that when I listen to a good song, I want to crank it up loudly. You know who you are. I am the same person. I'm listening to my favorite song. I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. Just keep turning it up and turning it up. And my parents call me because we're going to do something and I can't hear them. So then they gotta run up here and then they're yelling at me because I can't hear them. And wiring is another one too. This is kind of weird too. If someone walks in and sees wires hanging down your walls, it kind of gets annoying, a little tacky. But actually there is Bluetooth speakers or wireless speakers that you can hook up. I don't know if they sound really good. I've never really listened to them, but I'm guessing that they would sound pretty good as well. But you'd have to get a receiver that can pair up with that stuff, or your TV. Sometimes some of the smart TVs can pair up with your surround sound with Bluetooth on them. But wiring, if you're doing the old-fashioned, I guess they're not really old-fashioned, but you kind of see wires hanging down like that. It doesn't look too bad if you're running it across like the corners of the walls. It doesn't look too bad, but definitely something you got to think about. But once you hear the sound, I think you'll change your mind, and wires really don't matter. You get used to them if you see them every day. In addition to having wires running down your walls, if you look behind your TV stand, if you get, a couple speakers, your cable box runs to your receiver, and then your TV, PlayStation runs receiver, TV. What else do I have? Everything just runs to the TV from the receiver, and then to the speakers, to the subwoofer. And then you got the cables running to get electricity, HDMI cables, all that. Just, you can make it as organized as you want, but you can put it together any way you want, but it's all going to end up in one big clump of wires that, if you look behind, you're like, oh, there's just one big clump of wires. I mean, you can, thread the wires and tack them, I guess, to make them look neater. But it's kind of hidden behind everything, so it doesn't look too bad, but definitely something you'd think about if, you're really a neat person. And the third one is mounting. This is probably the number one reason why people don't want to get surround sound, is because they either don't have the space for it, or don't want to, build shelves on their walls or anything, or, put nails into their walls, which is totally fine. There is, stands that you can buy for your speakers that you can mount them on your floor. Now, again, that takes up space. I don't have space for it right now. That's why we chose putting shelves on the walls. But definitely, if you're not good at this stuff, sometimes that can be a lot of work to do. Leveling and make sure it's all even, and, matching the shelves with the color wood. It's just kind of... But once it gets together, it pretty much matches the rest of the room once it looks good. My final opinion on surround sound: really sounds good. If it didn't sound good, I would say, it's not that big of a deal, but it sounds good. Definitely if you get good speakers too. And it doesn't really cost an arm and a leg to get good speakers too. One of the hot brands right now is Bose, Klipsch, there's Denon. What else is there? There's other ones too. I can't list all the good ones, but those are good ones right now that really specialize in audio and make really good audio. I actually have Klipsch for my computer and Bose all around my room, so I really like it. Their products are really good. And you can also check out or buy the stuff that's in my room down in the description below. I'm not sponsored by Best Buy, but Best Buy, you can buy these speakers. I have Bose 301 series in the front, and in the back I couldn't find a link for. The center is the 2-cube speaker, part of the Bose Acustima surround sound. I hope I'm saying it right. Surround sound for my living room. And I have a 10-inch subwoofer that's by Sony. You can also find in the description below. And a Yamaha receiver. It's kind of an old one, so I couldn't find a link for that either. Alright, see you guys.